That being said, comics, if you want to host, I want you to host, for God's sakes. I want more people to know how to host. You have no fucking idea. Like, that's all I want right now. I want to be able to finally focus on my craft and what makes my stand up work and not work. And for the people that have already hosted, um, if I seem like an asshole, or if I seem frustrating, or if I seem intense about it, it's for a couple of reasons. The first reason is I've come to realize, I guess I'm just a perfectionist about this shit. That's something I learned about myself. The second reason is because the venues have a certain standard at this point. They want the show to go well. They want the audience to enjoy themselves and buy things and not get upset. That's like, I really can't emphasize this enough. And I know before someone's listening and is like, you fucking do it the shit too. Yes, I know. I'm putting myself in this as well. Like, I'm chastising myself here. All of us, every fucking comic in the IE, we need to stop attacking the audience. We need to stop attacking the audience. And if you are going to go after the audience, so this is, if someone does heckle you, and I'm going to get to heckling on my end in a second, but if someone heckles you, you have to come back funny. Like, and um, if someone's heckling, I have to remember not to. Um, I have to remember not the best, generally speaking, telling someone to fuck off is not going to get the audience on your side. You have to come back quick and you have to come back clever. One of the comics I met, he's the oh, fuck, wait a second. Neutron? Yeah, Jimmy Neutron. Okay, so he was the voice of Sheen from Jimmy Neutron. Jeffrey Garcia. Cool. I don't want to fuck up his name. Jeffrey Garcia. So this dude's like a working comic. He lives off of comedy, to my knowledge, comedy and just obviously voice acting work and other stuff, I assume. And I remember for a little bit he was coming by the Hideaway, and we were talking about hecklers and how to deal with them. And one of the things he said that really stuck with me, that seems like a good idea, is when someone yells out a heckle, first thing you want to do is say, "What?" And you do that for a couple of reasons. If I remember, and I guess if you ever listen to this, Jeffrey Garcia, sorry if I butcher this, but the logic is for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that it gives you a second to think. Like, and I know it's fucking nerve wracking up there, and you got your adrenaline pumping or whatever, but every second counts. And if you can give yourself just a second or 2 seconds to think about some way to come back, then you'll have enough time to come up with something interesting after you do it long enough. And I remember he said, what else did he say? That was the second reason. So he said that if I were to say what, not only does it give me a couple of seconds to think, but it also, it could potentially stop the heckle. So like at the Hideaway last week, I was doing jokes or whatever, and it was going well. Like, people were laughing, people were enjoying themselves, and somebody yelled out, "Beating women isn't funny" or something in reference to my jokes. And what I should have said, and I fucked up here. I should have said what. He didn't say anything, and I should have just moved on. But I hung on to it, like I was irritated by it. And as frustrating as it gets, I should have done the smart move and just said what. Let him be quiet and say, all right, I guess you have nothing to say, and then move on. But I fucking hung on to it. So yeah, that's a little thing that can be done with hecklers that I think would help me and everybody in the scene. If for whatever reason you haven't heard that piece of advice before. So this is, I was taught this by Jeffrey Garcia, so I don't know if anybody else has heard this or not. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I digressed a lot there. What else with the show? So that was my hosting. That's how I felt about it. I should just, I don't know. I need to put some work into that. Um, I I'll speak for myself here. I don't know how everyone else was when I wasn't around, but there were points where I got frustrated with people. Um, if if whoever, if someone's listening to this and they felt as if I was frustrated with them, a couple things. First thing is I don't have a problem discussing with it with anybody on a personal level. Like message me, say you want to talk in person. I'm fine with that. All I ask is that you approach me in a reasonable and respectful manner. Um, I don't mind. I don't mind if someone disagrees with me. Um, I don't mind if someone feels that I'm, you know, being an asshole in some ways. I'm sure that I am. So I don't doubt that there's times where I can be unreasonable, and I'm totally flexible with that. But what I need is an appropriate approach to me. So, like, if you want to talk with me about something, if you're frustrated or upset with the scene as a whole, and that's speaking of that, that's not even within the this show. I'm speaking to anybody in the IE or anybody because you all have feelings on the shit. I know, I understand. I have many feelings on this scene and what it could be and what could make it better and what's making it worse. And I have no problem with criticism. You can ask fucking Will Henderson, but or Jonathan Tynes. But all I ask is that you just approach me in a respectful way about it. So yeah, I definitely got frustrated with people this evening, and I think a couple things. I think the first thing is that I'm working on not dwelling on um, other people and what they do. I recognize that you don't have control over what other people do. You can only control yourself. I recognize that, but at the same time, I do give a shit about other people's perspective and feelings. So, with that in mind, yeah, with that in mind, you are welcome to please talk to me. Please give me your gripes, your criticism, or whatever. Just do it nicely and do it in a way that is going to have reasonable, healthy dialogue. And the second thing is, I can be convinced. You can trust me. You can change my mind. I'm pretty fucking flexible with things. And there's a third thing. What was it? Oh, the third thing is it's entirely possible that I'm going to disagree with you. But like I said before, I paused it like 7 times. I'm working on letting things go. So whether anyone approaches me about any problems or not, whether I was frustrated with someone or not, I'm just honestly I'm too tired to get like, like I was gonna say that I'm gonna let it go, like whatever, the show's over, we can just move on, and that's life, it's an intense situation, but also I'm too tired to give a shit or be upset or anything at anybody. So yeah, that's those are my feelings on that. As far as the comics go as a whole, like as the show itself, I'm really proud of them, and I'm really happy with what they brought. Like that crowd was interesting. Um, it was an older crowd, which I learned the hard way by I don't know. I'm used to people my age, so I'm used to saying like I'm getting older, meaning going to become 30 soon in 2 years. And for me, that's getting older. But they almost took offense to that. They were like, from their perspective, I was calling them old. And I think that the way I could have fixed that was, first off, I was the host, so I was in this vaudeville fucking performancey way of performing. Performancey way, that's so fucking stupid. But I was in this vaudeville way of performing. And that doesn't lend well to commanding the audience when they don't like you. Um, I think if I was speaking to them more like this, it wouldn't have felt like, hey, look at me, I'm trying to get laughs. It would have felt like a person talking, kind of like right now, um, which is more my style. That's what I prefer to do. But that's such a hard balance when you're hosting in front of a crowd like that. Um, so I think I could have approached their reaction to that a little better. What else? Yeah, there's just, I don't know, reading the crowd. It was a rough one for me personally. I know Michael wasn't, he didn't seem too happy with his set either. By that point, he was at the very, very end of the show. Michael Gonzalez. He's at the very, very end of the show, and so I was wiped out. Like, I knew I didn't need to listen to Segway. I knew I didn't need to listen to Segway, so I just didn't. I completely checked out by that point. So, Michael, you didn't seem too happy about it. I mean, I hope it didn't. I hope it went well, man. Um, as far as everybody else, I think everybody else did fine. I think that the two standouts of this evening were Jonathan Tynes and Joe Beltran, hands down, actually. Like without question, those two brought it the hardest, the best. Um, and then between the two, I would give it to Jonathan Tynes. No offense, Beltran. Yeah, I like that without question was the best set of the night, and Jonathan looked like a comedian, like so comfortable on stage, so smooth. I know his jokes inside and out at this point, so I know when he's riffing and I know when he's in actual joke mode. Couldn't tell the difference if you're an audience member. Completely seamless. Had good rapport with the audience. Just fucking brilliant, perfect. And yeah, I don't even know what else to say about it. I personally think that Jonathan had like he's 9 months in and he works so hard at it. Like at this point, he works harder at stand up than I do. I think I work harder at all of this. Like I'm juggling a lot, but within stand up itself, like he's just with sniper focused in on it, and it really shows. Like all the work that he does, it shows. If he, in my opinion, if just he just keeps pushing and he matures more and you know doesn't drop the ball, doesn't get lazy, I think that he could, without question, be a stand-up comedian successfully with or without the buddy system. Like I don't necessarily think he needs to be working with us to be successful as a comedian. I think that if he just were to work hard, get a car, he'd be fine. And Jonathan, if you listen to this, don't fuck up now. I gave you pretty glowing praise. So if you fuck up and you become a drug addict, I'm gonna be really embarrassed. All right, so don't fuck this up. This is already going really really long, much longer than it normally goes. So I'll probably wrap this up with thank you to everybody, obviously, for the show. I have plenty more thoughts and feelings that I'll marinate over after I pass out, and then do jujitsu and get my fucking ass kicked by Stephen Roth. That is a segue. Stephen Roth and Adrian Utley. I oh my god, I can't thank either of those two enough. Like they didn't get any time, they didn't get any stage time. They, I, without getting into too much of it because that's our fucking business. We gave them money, but I'm sure not nearly enough, legally speaking, at all. And they worked so hard, and they really didn't have to. So, yeah, guys, thank you. It does not go unnoticed at all, and I hope I don't. I know that during the shows, like I'm running around and everything, and so it's hard to like give everybody as much focus as I'd like to, but like you guys just put so much fucking work in. Thank you, and I recognize also that it didn't. This is just my. No, you know what? No, I'm not gonna end on no, no. I'm not gonna end on a fucking. I'm not gonna end on a negative. No, fuck that. No, you guys killed it. Thank you. All right, ran the line.